Hello there, YouTubers. Sorry it's been a while, but I thought I ought to make this video because I was very surprised that I've got two of the same now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in front of the camera and see if you can do a double take. Yes, it's another one of those HMV electric gramophones, like the one that I've had in a few of my videos when I've played some music. I've forgotten the model of it for a HMV, but it's not actually a HMV, although it basically is the same as the HMV. This one, ironically enough, I just carefully lift it up, is a Columbia. Now I have rewired it, temporarily put a new flex on, although it's one of these cheap flexes off something else where I don't think it's proper copper, if you know what I mean. You can feel it when you go around there. It doesn't feel right, but it's enough just to test it until I can get a period flex for it. Now the work that I've done on this is I've took the motor all apart, I've took the governor all apart, I've rewired the tone arm because the wire was so damn perished I couldn't reuse it in any way. Likewise for the line out wire on there, again that was extremely perished. Yeah, so it basically was a whole new rewire really. All functions as it should. I've lubricated all the parts that need lubricating. The governor seems to be fine, although I have really got to adjust it a bit more. I can't show it working at the moment because obviously I've got a new desk here now and all the electric sockets are buried right behind there, so I can't exactly plug it in, but you're not going to be missing much other than the fact that when you pull the tone home to the right it will start working as they do with them ones. As I say, it's near enough identical to the HMV version that I've got behind it. The only difference what I'm going to do with this one, but I haven't done with the original HMV one, is this one I'm not going to varnish. I'm just going to wax it, just to have one in wax and one that was varnished, you know. So I just think the two finishes be interesting to see what they look like. So we're going to have a little closer look around the Columbia now. Here we are back with the Columbia electric gramophone. Basically, as I previously said, it has had a whole new rewire. I've oiled and greased the motor. A very interesting motor on these really, because they still rely on a governor to maintain the speed. It is really quite advanced for the day really. If I can try and get the platter off one hand, just while I hold the phone like this, hang on. There we are. It has, which is standard with these electric gramophones of this type, the Coloro AC37 motor. It has a speed adjuster here, which goes directly into the motor itself, connected by a lever there. It has the auto stop mechanism here, which again is very clever because when you lift the tone arm up, it pulls it across and releases a switch literally just under here. So it is very clever really. And obviously when the tone arm gets to a point here, underneath the turntable here is like a brass thing that sort of sticks out that basically hits that lever there to tell it that it is finished and just pushes it back into the off position. So it is very clever. Can be rewired for other voltages, as you can see here. You can set it up for 100 to 130 or 200 to 250. Obviously set up for 250, but back in the day when things like this were commonplace, different parts of England had different voltages, so you could go to one part of the country and you could be set at 110 volts, and you could go to Glasgow the next day or whatever, or 2 days later, and you could be finding that you've got 200 volts there. Then you could come back down to Sussex where we are here and get 240 volts. So it really is because of that, really. And also, they may, I mean, I don't really know if they did this or not, but they might have exported this to colonies across the world, you know, back in the day when we had an empire. You know, we don't have that anymore. Could have been exported to any part of the empire as well. So that is what I'm thinking. The only thing I don't know too much about is I think this is a pickup point, because you can unplug it. It's a bit tight, but it comes out and you've got a socket. But it's not just a socket, because underneath it seems to join one wire that goes off to I think there's like a capacitor or whatever in there, and I think it overrides it, I think. So I think you can pop that out for, I don't know, maybe an early version of a preamp or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Please don't judge me on that. I don't know. All I know is a really well made, lovely little thing. Very unusual shape. I'm always attracted to things like this, really. So the model of this one is a 228. And the serial number R/2 11 45 44. Maybe 44 could be 1944. I'm not entirely sure. As I say, I've never come across a Columbia one before. I've only ever seen these in HMV. I think I did see, joking aside, I think I did see a Marconi version. Again, same bass, but with a slight difference on the top here. It said Marconi, whereas on my one over there, it's got the Nipper, the dog, looking into the gramophone. So obviously there are certain differences. So now I'm going to be very careful to lift and hold this as carefully as possible. Not like that other guy on YouTube that just throws his electric gramophone around. I've seen that video. And as careful as I can. There we go. And here we are underneath the motor board. There is our switch, right there, the auto start stop switch. There is our motor. I have earthed it, obviously. And down there is where you can pick the different voltages for the motor, say between 100 to 250. Over here you have what looks like two capacitors of some kind. There is that joiner there, which basically joins up to, hang on, it joins up from the output, the line out, and hang on, and another wire which I'm not entirely too sure because I'm getting a bit tired now, but that's all I can really say on that, really. Of course, underneath all of these is the usual stamp markings. Nothing really written on there apart from T12 55 123F. It doesn't make a lot of sense, that. I did manage to put the original cloth covered cable covering over the new tone arm wire when I rewired it. As you can see, it goes in just to make it look a bit more original, even though you don't see that part, so not really going to be too exciting. So that's about it, really. I mean, at the moment I need to adjust the governor again because you can hear it hitting when the weight's open if you run it too fast, which obviously is not going to be a good thing, so I've got to look at that at some point. Not a major job, it's just a little grub screw that you have to undo, and you pull the thing back, which pushes the governor away from the motor so that when the weights fly out it doesn't hit anything that it shouldn't. Of course, I didn't realise that when I put it back together, because I thought, oh yep, that'll fit in there just fine, and then obviously when I turned it on I realised that it was going to hit straight away. As careful as possible. So there's the old Columbia badge. It's quite worn away. I don't know what else it would have said. Probably, I'd think made in England, I should think, obviously. The original rubber grommets back in the back there. The good thing about these, obviously you've got a really nice, beautiful Bakelite tone arm. You can lift this all the way up carefully, and it is so easy to maintain. The wire goes under there, you undo a screw, a bit of like cardboard stuff I used to use, another screw, and then you've got the head. And as I say, I think it's literally just one screw. The magnet is kept screwed in with those two at the top. That's where the needle goes in. The needle adjusts the bolt, the bolt to hold the needle in. That's there. Sorry. This one, the only problem it has got, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, is a brake underneath here. And I know you guys are going to say yes, it's supposed to spring like that, but it's very hard to tell. But it has been snapped. I'm not going to do it all the way, case and make it worse, but it has been snapped in the past. But it doesn't affect the use of the machine. Obviously the one behind, same sort of deal. That one I didn't have to change the wire in the tone arm, which was good. Let's have a closer look at this one. So this is the HMV model I had. I purchased on eBay. This one was about 70 quid originally. The other one 30 quid. And they were both in unused condition. There we are. See, this one doesn't have anything in that little hole for some reason. Same sort of affair going on here. Switch mechanism, adjuster over there. Not really any difference between them really. They are literally both near enough identical. So this one is a model HMV model 122, serial number R/2 69693. So it's a 122 model. I'll quickly just put that back on there. So say the clever thing about these is the fact that they have a governor in them, which is something you wouldn't expect to find, I guess, but back in them days they knew how to make things properly. I've got this one paired up with the old Marconi here, which is still full of life, although it doesn't really pick up any stations at the moment. So yeah, that's about it really. I ought to show you the transfer on the side of this one. I'm going to do it carefully, it's very hard to get to. That's Nipper and the dog on the side of that gramophone. As I say, the other one I got is a Columbia one. Now you might be thinking, well, why does he want two? Well, there's several reasons why. One, it's always good to have spares, because you know you're not likely to find many of these around anymore. Two, you can still plug them into a modern line in on a radio or something. The wire I put on this one is just a standard RCA plug, whereas on the other one I've put traditional banana plugs to plug into the Marconi over there. So it's up to you how you wire it. You can get adapters and things anyway. Sorry about that, I was just finishing my tea. Yeah, they use the old standard gramophone needles. Really, there's really not much else to say really, other than the fact that if you ever do come across them, they are worth picking up, because they're very unusual. You don't really see these around anymore. I didn't know they were really much of a thing really, because as I say, as a younger person, I just thought record players that could play all three speeds with a stylus. But these use an acoustic style needle that isn't acoustically amplified. It's obviously amplified by the radio on the auxiliary and on the back of a valve radio. And instead of having a wind-up motor, you've got an electric motor. So of course this is quite a big leap forward. Back in the day, in the 30s, I should imagine, they were quite expensive. probably not your average Joe would have owned one really, because I've seen like gramophones similar to this, but although they've got like I say, an electric style pickup for a valve radio, they have still got a hole on the side for a winding handle, which is quite ironic. So obviously it was at that period of time where they were just beginning to take off with electric pickups, and a lot of people back in the day, from what I've read, had, say, wind up machines, and when these electric pickups came out, obviously in radio magazines and that, they thought, oh yes, we can just convert your wind up gramophone to run on these pickups. And a lot of them literally just went in the space where the reproducer popped in. It was as simple as that. You just tuck the wire around the heavy metal tone arm and then just plugged it into your valve radio, and then voila, you've got a supposed to be a better reproduced record. I don't know if there's much in it really or not. I suppose technically it would be better. Whether it actually is or not, I don't know. There's sort of argument you could start with someone and you probably wouldn't hear the end of it, because you have two types of people really. You have the ones that really do like the wind-up machines being amplified, you know, naturally, acoustically or whatever, and then you've got the other sort of people that say, oh yes, well, they've got to go through a pickup on a valve radio because it sounds much better with the valves, you know, that are electrically amplified. But at the end of the day, whatever sounds good is what you should be happy with. So if you're happy with an electric pickup, that's fine. If you're happy with an acoustic pickup, again, that's fine. There's really no right or wrong answer in this sort of hobby. You just sort of have to, you know, trial and error until you get it right, really. So hopefully I'll be making some more videos about the Columbia, because obviously I want to get them side by side to see what quality my Columbia's in, because obviously I haven't actually reproduced the 78 on it yet. I've only plugged it in and spun the motor, so that'd be interesting to know what it sounds like through the pickup. I've been told the gaskets wear out in the heads of them. You can replace them with some heat shrink or something. I'm personally not going to do that unless I actually have to, because it was very fiddly soldering those little wires onto that coil in there, and I don't really want to do it too often, just in case I break the thin wires. But yeah, made up with this one, spares or repair, 30 quid, and I've already got it going. The other one behind a few months ago, 70 quid, spares or repair. So if I'd waited, I could have just had this one. So whether the needle picks up any music or not, I'm not sure, but we'll soon find out. If not, it's not the end of the world, because there's plenty of good parts on here which could be used on my other machine, and I don't expect there's much to go wrong with them really. I've seen people do a lot of things with these pickups, and they've always seemed to get them working somehow. So at the end of the day, hopefully this one will prove to be a good one. Okay, well, thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.